Now, the committee tasked to fashion out a comprehensive roadmap for the disbandment of party militias are meeting to review the presentation of civil society groups on the activities of vigilantism. The CSOs at the just-ended dialogue on the elimination of political vigilantism highlighted the threat posed by activities of these groups. The parties, including NDC and NPP, agreed to set up a team of technical experts to develop a roadmap with the inputs of the parties geared. Of course, here is the chairman of the Mediation Committee and a board member of the National Peace Council, SKB Asante. Here's what he had to say.
As you know, this very important dialogue seeks to develop a definitive yet consensual framework for eliminating political vigilantism in Ghana. So far, we have made significant progress with respect to obtaining the commitment of the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party to disband their vigilante groups, prohibit the utilization of such groups, and cooperate with state agencies and stakeholders to eliminate vigilantism. This commitment is reflected in the two communiques issued by the National Peace Council on the 9th and 29th of April 2019, respectively. The NPC is pleased with this achievement and is deeply proud of the NDC and NPP for their admirable cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, since we started this process, there have been three important developments. First, a Vigilantism and Related Offences Bill 2019 has been introduced and is currently being considered by Parliament. The bill provides for the mandatory prohibition of vigilantism in all its forms. We have already established that its budget, that is the passage of this bill, and this process, that is this dialogue, are compatible. But it places a responsibility on us to approach the exercise with a goal-oriented vision and utmost seriousness. This brings me to the second development. Parliament has expressed the expectation that the NPC, based on insights gained from this dialogue, will make a significant contribution to the bill. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Peace Council has prepared its comments on the bill, which will be sent to Parliament very soon. However, the NPC is keen to incorporate other views for this submission. Thus, during the course of this dialogue, you will be offered the opportunity to contribute to the shaping of the proposed law. Also, if there is any message that the meeting wants to send to Parliament, the National Peace Council will gladly convey it. Regarding the third development, the nation more than ever is expressing with heightened apprehension its disapprobation of vigilantism. This is reflected in the many pronouncements made by persons from all walks and stations of life denouncing this phenomenon. The general public is therefore counting on us to produce results. It should be stated that this dialogue is not a talk about other talks. In the past, other dialogues on vigilantism have been organized. For instance, the National Peace Council organized a stakeholder dialogue at the Central Hotel on January 29, 2019, This was even before the incident at Ayahuasca West Wobble. In fact, a report on this dialogue has been made available to all participants. The NCCE also undertook a similar engagement and published a report titled "A Report on the Engagement with Political Parties and Other Stakeholders on the Menace of Political Party Vigilantism." In fact, as you may all know, Parliament is currently hosting a series of public engagement sessions on the Vigilantism and Related Offences Bill. The National Peace Council is therefore of the opinion that with the expansion of the stakeholder groups involved in this exercise, we are involved in a national dialogue. This dialogue is not to prepare the ground for another dialogue. This is the dialogue, ladies and gentlemen. I must emphasize that in view of the foregoing, we have no choice but to focus our attention on our priorities and achieve concrete results. It is imperative that we derive from this dialogue workable solutions to the incidents of political vigilantism in God.
Meanwhile, General Secretary of the Opposition, NDC, has rubbished claims that the party tried opposing decisions made by the National Peace Council. Mr. Asidun Ketia indicated that his party had approached the dialogue with all seriousness and is looking forward to finding a lasting solution to the menace. He spoke with my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson on Tuesday.
We are approaching this dialogue with all the seriousness that it requires. And so from day one, we've set up a committee of our experts, the most experienced experts, and then the Peace Council will attest that anytime we attend meetings, we come with proposals, documentation, and the other things in a very business-like manner. We have rallied around, we have aligned experts such as former Chief of Staff of the Republic for several years, Nana Tudaze. We've brought in persons like the immediate past Attorney General Marita Brewer-Pia, and a host of other lawyers, Chuchi Poku and other things, who all have some experience on this type of mediation and problem solving. I don't think that the other side are as fully represented as we are. And so, and again, so it makes our inputs very valuable to the process. And you realize that it is upon our demand that other stakeholders were invited, because we believe that this is a problem that must be tackled and comprehensive solutions found to develop it, to save our, to deal with it, to save our democracy. And so that is the background to all these talks.
So would you say the NDC is satisfied with today's agreement?
So to begin with, it is not accurate for anybody to say that we have been opposing proposals by the Peace Council. It's not true. In fact, when Peace Council brings proposals, in fact, the last communique, when Peace Council brought the proposal for a communique, it was the MPP who at some point decided that they will not participate in a technical committee that will be working to develop the roadmap. It is not NDC. And so they resisted up to a point that they didn't want any committee to involve any stakeholders and so on. They wanted the Peace Council to by itself go and develop a roadmap. And I've said that Peace Council is a statutory institution, but it requires some expertise. That is, how come other stakeholders like civil society organizations and so on have been brought on board? So they are a facilitating institution. So we shouldn't restrict them. And so eventually we got a compromise that the Peace Council is free to invite experts, whether they are from NDC, MPP, and then civil society, to be able to develop a roadmap, because we think that the key to the solution is the roadmap. Because as for policy statements that we all want to abolish vigilantism, we've said this millions of times. Each political party has been saying that, well, we don't want vigilantism, we want it abolished. And when we are approaching any election, we sign codes of conduct, make several declarations, and yet still those elections will witness the violence. So it tells you that it doesn't take just public declarations to solve the problem.